Hello world and our graduates. So today is another graduation, and this is like how many in a row? How many weeks in a row?
At least three right now. At least
Three. I think it's more like, feels more like four.
yeah, four.
I think this is the fourth graduation we've had in a row, which is a record for our school. We've never had 4 weeks of 3 or 4 or 5, 6 people graduating at one time. So that's good on the one hand. On the other hand, as we've been doing things strategically, getting set up with the Department of Corrections, promoting the election process, thanks to one of our graduates, especially here, changing the law in the state of Nevada regarding inmates having access to the internet. We have not been, our focus has not been on bringing in new students, just because when people come on, we want to be able to do an orientation. We have Luis is here, one new student who haven't had your orientation yet, right? Good. Okay, just checking, because otherwise that would not be good if you have had it, though Phyllis can do much of it. So today we have 3 people graduating, and the significance of that, one of the significant things about that is that means they have put in 520 hours in about a 16-week period. That's something big. How many people think that the average person that goes to UNLV does 35 hours a week? No, they don't do anywhere close to 35 hours a week. They might do typically less than half of that at UNLV, and at CSN the same thing. So when we're talking to employers, when we're with the director for the Department of Corrections this week, when we talk about our graduates have done 16 weeks, 5 days a week, 7 hours per day. That's actually 560 hours. But our license requires that the course is 520 hours. But that is impressive to people. Yesterday, we had somebody come in with the Downtown Project funded company. Did you know that her business was Downtown Project funded?
No.
Yeah. So that's a Downtown Project thing. Their headquarters is where? Anybody know where their headquarters is? The one who came in yesterday? Huh? Yeah, the Ogden. Their headquarters is right next door to Tony Hsieh's personal office. And they knew about us. And I think it's a great opportunity for us. And we are talking to them about setting it up, modifying our curriculum a little bit like we did for other Downtown Project properties, where what they need, we teach. Interestingly, all of the people they hire are given a, what did she say?
She didn't really
A
speak.
condo? No.
She didn't really speak. She spent most of her time with Sherry.
They're given a Chromebook. Every employee they have is given a Chromebook. Their whole business is based upon Google Apps. This is a virtual personal assistant or assistant. There's a lot of guys who have a business, successful guys, they sell insurance or whatever they do. They're very successful. They sell insurance, they sell something, they're traveling. They don't need a home office. They need somebody on the other end of the phone, somebody on the other end of the computer doing their stuff. And the economics work out that they could pay a company like Zirtual, the company that was here yesterday, and Zirtual could have 3 layers of management people above a person who's actually the virtual assistant. And that virtual assistant gets $11 per hour starting. Okay. They start at $11 an hour. You can work from home. It starts at guaranteed 20 hours a week, and then it moves up to 40. And then you move up to be what they call a pod leader, which means you have some number of virtual assistants below you. And then you move up to another level and another level. And despite having all of these levels, they can't keep up with demand for businesses that want to hire them. And an opportunity for us is curriculum. We can modify our curriculum. So before people start with them in their 2-week training, our people are already trained to do more than their graduates of their 2-week training. So curriculum. Plus, the thing they really like is this concept of, if you've graduated from here, you have proven that you can be dependent upon to follow through. That's the number one reason those businesses fail. And that's why they have to have so many layers of people, because if you don't show up today, if you get caught in a door jam, because you don't really have traffic jams, right? You just have door jams. If you get stuck in a door jam and you can't get to work, somebody has to be there.
I just got that.
That's one of those grenade jokes. It takes about 3 seconds. Some people never get it, but so they have to have these layers of management because they can't depend upon people to be there every day. And it's hard when you work from home. There's a lot of distractions. So a couple things. 1, Google Apps. 2, it's 520 hours to go through here. People are tested, and it's not like for a week. It's not like they work for 35 hours 1 week. It's 35 hours a week for 16 weeks. That's another thing. And then the memorization of the importance of remembering things, because if you're the administrative assistant for somebody and they're on the road and they're doing stuff and they're depending upon you, what's the one thing they really don't want to hear?
I can't make it in today.
No, that's the second thing. I can't remember. Oops, I forgot. I didn't do that. They don't want to hear that. So when they understand the importance of memorization at this school, we just get so far above and beyond what other people do. So even though we have a small class graduating today, a small group of people, nonetheless, the accomplishments are still the same. And there aren't other places that do this. One of the challenges we have, and Sherry was at a meeting of these workforce connection type people, the state agencies that have money for training, they don't really want to spend more than $500 in 1 week. They would rather spend $25 an hour for 1 week, $500, and say, okay, this person got a certificate. They'd rather do that than spend $5 an hour for 520 hours. That's what they would rather do. So, that's a challenge that we have. And, it shows the dysfunctionalness of the system in that there's money for retraining, but they would rather spend money for something they know doesn't provide any real benefit more than a week later, because you just can't learn this stuff. What can you learn in 1 week, in 5 days?
Not a lot.
It's hard to learn Jabberwocky in a week, right? For some people.
Purple cow.
Purple cow you can do in a day. Huh?
Why can't these companies, I remember when I started this school, the 3-week internship. Okay, so you take the graduates of this school and say, okay, now you're coming to where we work and you're going to work for free. You're going to learn our business. And then we like you and you catch on. You're going to be working for us.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're talking to this company about.
Yeah. I can't see where you could go wrong with that.
Well, that's what we're talking to them about. So that's an opportunity. So our people graduating today and last week and the week before and next week, I don't want to diminish that. That isn't a big deal. It's a huge deal graduating from here, because it means you showed up. Even if it's just completing, even if you didn't actually graduate, you completed. The fact that you completed and stayed the course and got it done and were here every day and got your stuff, your certificates, that in itself is more than most people do at this age. So having said that, I want to briefly talk about our recap of Nolan Bushnell being here, because this week we had Nolan Bushnell here talking about stuff. And Nolan is an entrepreneur. One of the things he asks people that come into him that have an idea and say, hey, can you fund my business, or can you help me fund my business? He says, well, what's the first business you started? What's the first business you've started? And a lot of people that go for the big money, what do you think they say?
Start something very small.
They said, well, this is my first one. And he said, do you think anybody ever got to the NFL by just saying, I want to play in the NFL? You don't think they started before that?
Selling lemonade.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he did. He was out selling stuff door to door. He was a carny. He was, doing all kinds of stuff. And so one of the messages from him that he kind of alluded to, but that we talked about while we were together, was to encourage everybody to start a business, no matter how small. Just know that you can do it. Take your hobby and figure out a way to get paid for doing it, no matter what it is. Take your own your destiny into your own hands. Take control of your destiny. This business that Virtual started, that's a thing you could put an ad on Craigslist yourself and say, hey, work from home. I can do this. I'm bilingual. Billy, you're bilingual, right? Okay, bilingual. I can do this. If you need that, and just see what happens. Be out to promote your business. So there's a lot of stuff. So again, people never pay you what you're worth for long. Some people make a mistake and they think that you're worth more than you are, but then when they find out you're not worth what they're paying you, you're gone in some period of time. People never do that, but if you start your own business, you have the opportunity to get paid what you're worth. And then when you start hiring people to work for you, you make money off of what they're worth too. And you're not even having to do anything. So that's the second thing from Nolan, or the first thing is, be an entrepreneur, think about that, get into business for yourself, take control of your own destiny. It's not hard. There's a lot of little businesses. And if you don't know one, go on Craigslist and look what other people are doing. For the Entrepreneurial Academy, the Entrepreneurs Academy, the first thing Nolan suggested, and we got to get somebody here to do it, is to create a eBay account for us. Let's create an eBay account that we have. And then we'll go to some agencies that we work with or businesses that we work with and say, hey, you have any junk you want to get rid of? What was the example Nolan used regarding eBay?
That reality show, the picker guys.
Yeah, but what did he say you could do? Go to your neighbors that have a garage full of junk, or just go to your neighbors and say, you have any junk you want to get rid of? Let me sell it. And a pitch would be to people, would you rather get rid of your stuff now and get something, or wait and have your other people do an estate sale? Okay, the stuff you have in your house, if you don't really care about it, might as well get some money and buy something you do care about.
It's probably how that, how they do those storage lockers or whatever. They even have a TV show now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably how that got started. And I see a truck driving around and says, "We buy junk."
Yeah. Well,
come to your house.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is, it's not hard to get in business. And the first thing we have to do is get an eBay account. And then the second thing we have to do is figure out businesses that we deal with. Could be another Chow Tutti service, right? We'll advertise your business and we'll sell your junk. If you've got used stuff that you don't know what to do with, but you've got this storeroom back here of all old stuff, we'll take care of it. You got records you don't need, we'll get rid of it for you, and just have that as a service that we can do. So and And then Nolan's thing is he can participate via Hangouts on air with us, even though he won't be here a lot. But once we start putting campuses in the prisons, then he'll be probably coming through once a month, once every 6 weeks. So we have that going for us. Now let's move forward to the graduation. Where did Anthony go? Oh, there he is. Okay, Anthony, come on up. So the first person is Anthony. Now, Anthony, did you start here or there? In the other building? Okay. So see, when Anthony started, he was under the radar, right? He just was not engaged. Yesterday, when I was talking to Sherry about graduation, she said, the person who's really improved the most is Anthony. That he is now engaged, much more engaged. He's being proactive. He's speaking a lot more. And even though I don't think you ever volunteered once, right? During a TED Talk. He didn't pull a Robert. He didn't do a Robert thing or an Eric thing and say something. But I'm sitting back there behind Anthony, and one of the things is in the morning, as soon as he gets on, able to start doing notes on the TED Talk, as soon as the computer's turned on, he's able to pull up docs, start creating notes, getting ready. Here's what's on the calendar today. Here's what we're going to do. He's engaged taking notes. And I wasn't watching the quality of the notes, but the fact that doing that is building good habits. And you take all your notes on the computer, right? Yeah. Not by hand. Yeah. And so, one of the benefits of that is whatever notes that Anthony has, he can go back from now till 20, 30, 40, 50 years, go back and read the notes that he did, where for the rest of us that have the composition books, it's not quite that easy, because we have to lug the books around with this. But Anthony can always get to that. So, the thing about Anthony, like once again, showed up, dependable. I think there was just one period where you lost your ID or something? Yeah. So Anthony lost his ID, wasn't here for 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
A week,
seemed like days. 3. Okay. Was it that short? I thought it was a lot longer than that. And so he wasn't here for those days, but otherwise it's just like clockwork. I never, like in the mornings, okay, who's here, who's not here? Nobody ever said, oh, well, he's outside still, or he's in the restroom, or I don't know. And for employers, consistency, dependability is, the highest thing, or amongst the highest things. And so Anthony has made the school better just because he was always here doing, on time, let's say that, on time, taking notes when it was note-taking time. How far did you get in Brain Rush?
I don't know.
How many points?
Like 4,000 something.
Okay, 4,000. How's that? That's a pretty good number, right? Yeah. Huh? So again, just quietly doing his stuff. So, the thing that is something that you should do more of is make sure people are aware that you're doing stuff. And on the poetry stuff, not quite getting them done, but coming up, not doing a pretty good job reading from the book. So for that, we are grateful that you were here for that. So Anthony, 543 hours. That's good. Typing, 36 words per minute. What did you start at?
Like 19.
19, okay, so you almost doubled it. Cloud, Brain Rush, memorization, and then here's your hour sheet. So Anthony, thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
Yeah. I know I don't talk that much, I mean, from the environment that I've been in, I had a lot of negativity and stuff. And to come to something like this and it's positive, changed my thoughts about a lot of things. It's me being on the streets, like how the life I live. I would never thought about no Larson. I would be like, Larson, I'm not about to go there. But the opportunity of coming here, I learned a lot. I learned about the Google Cloud. I learned like how can I say, like, I learned a lot about the work environment. Because me, I never thought about having a job. I used to be like, a job? No, I don't need it. I used to always think that way. But me coming here, it showed me a lot of opportunities. You know, and I like to thank the director and Sherry for this opportunity. You know, I don't speak that much, you know. Just like to thank them very much, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, again, thank you, Anthony. You did a good job. And,
Good job, brother.
you know, and you can talk to Sherry about coming back for an internship unless you've got something lined up next week. Okay. Okay, next let's do Dan.
All right.
So Dan has been on that side of the room for like 8 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Primarily 8 weeks. And working on a project that has helped benefit all of us and provides opportunities for all of us, which is the magazine publishing that we have. Let's see, it was in early January, or was it December that we had the meeting here?
Early January.
Okay, so early January. Is that right?
Well, because I know I was,
Yeah.
must have been before the holiday.
It was right around just before Christmas.
Okay,
Okay.
but we were in here.
No, we were still over there.
No, we had
The meeting was here. The first La Voce meeting where we took the pictures. Right.
Yeah. So Dan was here for the first meeting. Dan has been here working on that project virtually every day. I mean, 7 days a week, virtually every day since then. And we were able to go to take it from a rag. We don't have a copy of the rag. No, that's the post-rag rag.
Oh, even worse.
That's our rag.
I think I might have.
Yeah.
Really?
There's one, Phyllis, would you get one back there, please, on the table? So we went from something that was really not good.
This old rag.
No, that's the new rag.
Oh, those are the new rags.
So in a period of 4 months, we went from, this was before we started, and the pages were typically very large print and not a lot there. We went from that, and the first month we did it, we went to this, which was promoting the hockey team. And we did our part to get 13,000 season tickets sold by creating awareness. And then we went to all pages looking like this. So there weren't these big gaps of no content. And then the second month, we turned it into a magazine like this. More colorful, brought in some, new advertisers that are exciting stuff. Last month, we then did this, and we went from 32 pages to 44 pages. So we increased by a third the number of pages, and more glossy pages, went to almost 20,000 words, 3 times more words than are in this magazine. And, because Dan was primarily focused on selling and distribution, that meant other people here, including myself, could focus on getting the thing produced. And now, finally, because of the work that we did this month, it's not going to say La Voce, it's going to say Ciao Tutti. And Ciao Tutti is the school's publication for the Italian American Club. This, we were just acting as the people putting the thing together and distributing it. We got none of the money. The school got none of the money for doing this, for doing these. Now, for Ciao Tutti, the school gets all of the money. which is great. And we expect, if we continue to grow the way we've been growing, we'll have a 100-page magazine by the end of the year that has half of it, 50 pages full of ads. And that means all kinds of jobs for all kinds of people. And, one of the advertisers who will be here this month, this advertiser here is coming in, and we're asking them to promise that they will hire all graduates that they can hire. They have 900 employees, and they have some exciting businesses. Robert has met them, and nice guys, right?
Okay, yeah.
And a good operation, right?
Yeah.
First class operation. So a lot of that was because of Dan, and most people here probably didn't even, or the new people, not really sure what Dan did. But he was doing his class work and he was doing his internship work on this project, and we have benefited. So thank you, Dan, for that.
Thank you.
And Dan came and got his certificates this week. So what was your typing?
30.
Okay, what did you start at?
I started at like 8.
Okay, good. So that was a big jump, especially all things considered. So Dan, how about giving everybody a pep talk?
I really want to thank the director and Sherry for allowing me to have this opportunity. The thing that I've noticed most about this place is the learn one, do one, teach one, and how everybody seems to blend together. And that there's a bond that I have with all of you, previous students and graduates, those that are here now, those that have graduated, Phyllis, Robert. Robert and I was set back 3 weeks when I was sponsored by Salvation Army, and I met Robert that day. Did not wanted to graduate with him. He wouldn't stand up and be me last week, so I had to stand up and be me this week. So, but I think the thing that I really want to say is that this place gives you direction when you need direction. It gives you hope when you didn't have much, and it gives you purpose when you don't have purpose. These things that are gained, and the friendships that are gained, and just the camaraderie that we have here, and then the opportunity to learn a new business that I've never been involved with from the ground up, from us starting to where we are now going to our own publication has been huge. And I'm going to continue to be here for this. And there are future opportunities for people that are here now and people that will come afterwards. So again, I want to thank the director and Sherry especially for their patience and giving me direction so that I can be a better person and that I have hope and self-worth and dignity. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. So we're going to now hear from someone, and then Dave, you can get up and say something if you'd like. Looks like you've been working out. Or is that the manual style?
I borrowed that from manual.
Okay. So every once in a while, we have somebody who's a student that goes above and beyond just the normal thing of taking care of themselves. And it's usually because they start out higher. A lot of you remember Will, who was in the first class with Tellus. He was very helpful for that group of people. For the first class, he helped quite a bit. We didn't have Phyllis here. And those people enable people like me to be able to do other things in advance so that we can get caught up. In other words, if I have time to go get people to find prospective employers or work with the Department of Corrections, if I have time to do that, then that benefits future people. And I can only do that if we have people here who are going to do, as Dan said, the Navy SEALs learn one, do one, teach one approach, and set an example and be approachable and be supportive of what we're doing. Because it's easy or it's hard to be motivated if people come in, other classmates come in, and their attitude is, this sucks, it's stupid, why I'm wasting my time being here. And so when we have somebody who's the opposite of that, somebody who is positive, someone who, when we bring to a prospective employer, we don't have to worry of how that prospective employer is going to think of all of the rest of us. So that's something we're lucky about. And then when it comes to our other projects, we have the situation where we can get people excited about the projects, the other projects, the People of the Abyss, the Obligation, SPQR. We can get people excited about those, but we can't get people to do the work themselves. And these projects don't happen if you don't do it. And fortunately right now we're at a point where for most of the projects we're getting stuff posted every day. Right, Monica? Bree? We're getting stuff posted just about every day. What it takes is the next level though, and the stuff that you guys can't do, the stuff out in the community, the stuff that gets people to become aware of the idea, people who matter. It's good getting social media out there, but social media only takes you so far. It's like in military operations, you can use planes and bomb the crap out of people, but you still have to have the Army go in and take land and move the flag forward. You still have to have people like that. So as much good as we do with the social media stuff, as important it is, when we can get people to do the stuff that follows that up, that's even bigger. And so because of Robert primarily leading the charge, getting 4 or 5 other people, Moses, Billy, Rodney's not here. Let's see, were you involved at all, Dan?
No, but
Okay,
Joe-
Veronica. Huh?
Dan didn't even have time to go vote.
Oh.
I voted.
Okay, I
Good.
apologize. That's a big step.
So we had a bunch of people involved in the projects, and once again, it's because Robert, in this case, picked up the flag, carried it down the field, and got other people to come along with them. And that's what employers want. They want people who they can just give kind of general direction, paint the big picture, give general direction of what we need to get done, be supportive. And I was as supportive as I could be for the project. I could have been more supportive probably, but I was as supportive as I could. And there was not complaining, and it was very enthusiastic. Let's go do this. And I think we accomplished a lot considering when we started and what we were up against. And the foundation has been laid for SPQR to go do that. And so tonight, the 3rd Friday of every month, is this group that we are part of. So I can't remember the exact name of it, but this group that we're part of, to start the process now instead of 2 months. What was it, a month or 2 months before? About 6 weeks before the election, where we can now be out there 15 months before the thing and do things right. So, Robert, why don't you come up, please? Well, we're not going to be happy to see you go.
I'm not leaving.
Okay, good. All right. So you're signing up for a second term.
I wouldn't go that far.
Cut. Take 2. So Robert has made, so the point is Robert has made the school a lot better in many ways. And I know that when we have an employer come in, Robert does well for all of the rest of us here. He did very well when he met Frank Bonanno and Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group to get them to feel, oh, if this is the typical type of student that graduates from here, yeah, that's fantastic. And when they meet Robert, and then later they hear that our placement rate is 87%, they think back to Robert and say, now I understand, I can see why they have such a high placement rate. Nolan Bushnell said 87% isn't the highest in Nevada. It's probably in the top 10 in the whole country for schools like this. And, it's just a very impressive thing. And we can only do it because our students do most of the work. If you think about Wednesday, when we had people from the Department of Corrections here and people from the city here, the courts here, and people from, where else? Oh, the licensing agency, people from the downtown project here on Wednesday. When they walk in and everybody's just working, very impressive. You think they can do that in high school? No way. And, I'm pretty sure if that thing happened in UNLV, it would not be people just focused on doing what they're doing. And that really comes down to the environment, the atmosphere that you guys create. And a lot of that is because of Robert. When I think of that's not the president. When I think of what? Just lost my train of thought.
Really?
No. Well, we'll move on. So,
You did know that he's trilingual, right?
no.
English, profanity, and sarcasm.
Okay, good. So that worked. So, so when I think of how Robert has helped the school, it's been in many ways. And when I think about the TED Talks in the morning, that when something good is said, Robert is going to probably laugh, right? Laugh. And that when I'm sitting in the back watching what's happening, when Robert is engaged, other people get engaged. And that is a great talent and skill to have, and one that everybody should remember. And if you act that way, if you behave that way, if you take that lesson from Robert, the same thing will happen for you. So thank you, Robert. Now let's go through these. So 520 hours, so you nailed that one.
Probably down.
So what did, huh?
As soon as the day ends today.
I can't leave early, right?
You gotta stay till 4:00.
So what did your typing start at?
Around 20.
Okay, around 20. So you got almost doubled it, 38. The cloud, Brain Rush, do you remember how many points you have in Brain Rush?
5,600.
Okay. Memorization, and your return voucher. So that means you can come back for free for a year. And then your hours. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you. When I came here, it was almost like a fateful, I wasn't supposed to come here. I was literally on the verge. I just suffered some personal tragedies. I wasn't, she wasn't, and fate brought me, literally. It was just a weird coincidence that brought me here that day. With Dan, yeah. And we started pretty much the same day. And I've been frustrated with you. And I'm starting to come to an understanding. You know what I mean? That you are very calm, but you take for granted, like with Sherry, it's not a knock against you, but you look at Sherry and you go, that's a busy woman right there. It's just written on her. You know what? She needs a moment, but you never see. It's almost like the duck. You never see what's going on underneath. When you start seeing the picture and what's going on underneath, it kind of puts things in perspective. And so learning that it's been impressive meeting you.
It's been real.
Yeah. And I really just want to talk about the SPQR.
Okay, beautiful, great.
So I'm going to stay and keep doing that no matter what happens, because our goal for the 2016 presidential election, 80,000 voters register is what we want to do in the Las Vegas Valley. And I think it's possible with 400,000 people or close to 400,000 people that can register that are not. There's no reason we can't. And with people like Moses, who once they're excited, once we get excited, we realize we can make a difference. We can, to be able to say that, we swung Nevada, a group of us. Do you know what I mean? Us, convicts on the verge, old people that didn't do what we were supposed to when we were supposed to. It's not too late. And to be able to sit back and say, because 80,000 votes, even in a presidential election, because of the lack of turnout, we're enough because we would legitimately be able to say we swung our state's electoral college votes. That's kind of heady stuff. Not just for the fact of, okay, well, that's something you can put on your resume if you don't want to continue, or that you can put on your resume. That's something you can take forever. I had a part in putting a president in office. That's a big deal.
It is.
And I can't speak for everybody, but I never missed a presidential election since I was able to vote. But learning about the importance and the effect that these local governments have on our day-to-day lives, they affect us way more than those major elections that we wouldn't think of missing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we're too busy, or we don't have time, or we don't realize the importance of these local elections. And so, and especially when you learn the numbers of people that come up to vote, or that show up to vote, or that decide what's going to happen with our day-to-day future. That we saw, in 6 weeks, 7 weeks, the candidate that we supported, we tripled his number of votes from the previous election. You know what I mean? And he lost by a 2-to-1 margin, but it's only 1,400 votes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you look at the percentages, oh man, he got killed. But 1,400 votes, that's 6 more weeks. If we'd had 6 more weeks, you know what I mean? So you're gonna keep seeing me. I'm gonna continue with this. It's something I gotta continue with. I can't see it stopping. It doesn't make sense to quit after what we've accomplished.
Good.
There was something else I wanted to say, but I guess it wasn't important.
Prestidigitation.
Oh yeah. You missed both of them.
I did.
And I did them out of spite because no one ever does it. No one's ever going to do it. So I kind of did them out of spite. Okay, now we're going to have to prove a point. So, and they were fun. They were corny little tricks, but still,
Well,
they were
good.
real magic.
Good. Real magic. The kind of magic that you can't do.
Yeah, real magic.
No, one last thing. I got to say, I'm not a college graduate, but I've been in college courses and things like that. And I dropped out of many a college, but I've never been challenged by a curriculum the way I have in this school. The first day I sat down, I can remember thinking, yeah, right. You know what I mean? I do not need to take notes. I have never had to learn to take a note in my life. You're not, and and it was a smaller trailer too. So when I walked in, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. There's no way I'm going to be challenged, but it really has. And I got to say, the way I look at things is changing, and it's changed due to those TED Talks and those conversations and stoicism. I really enjoy that. I really do. Yeah. Okay, now I really am done.
Okay. Robert, thank you very much. And David, would you like to say something?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm a graduate of Larson Training Center here in Las Vegas. When I first came in back in, August, roughly?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
August. I was a resident of West Care Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. I'm a drunk in recovery. And when I first came in, even though I had a college background, and work in administrations at a college. I didn't come in very confidently because of my previous 10-year sabbatical from any kind of traditional work. You want to talk to me about life on the street and being a panhandler and a drunk? That's me, and I can converse with you very well about that. So I came into Larson not being comfortable at all. back in an environment that I had once roamed around in very freely. And it took me a while to get my mind back into an academic or a curriculum way of seeing things, organization, methods, application, the idea that I was autodidactic, as director likes to use the term, meaning that I was given the information and now it was up to me and my training partners on either side to help all of us, but me in particular, to achieve that goal. And there is, using an algebraic term, there is an order of operation to the Larson Training Center way of doing things. I came in just a little bit ahead of Dan and Robert, but we were in the small trailer together, and we all branched off into our own individual special projects. Mine is working with the homeless, creating an awareness for the public about our situation and how growing it is. There's a lot of desperate people out there. Many of them like me that have had professional experience. Our People of the Abyss program can be viewed on Google Plus as well as on Facebook. And we're proud of that, just like Dan is proud of Chow Tootie.
That's it.
Okay. And Rob with SPQR. We've all enjoyed our stay here tremendously. And in closing, in regards to our poetry, there's a poem that I recited for one of my weekly times up here. It was an Edgar Guest poem, and gosh, the poem in our book, I forget the name of it. But the other poem that was written, a sister poem that was written by Edgar Guest, was It Couldn't Be Done. And the first lines of that poem apply to all of us. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. And that's what Larson Training Center is all about, trying, doing your best. Doing your best, trying, it's a French word, essayer. And I say, fini. Au revoir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so with that, we will conclude this week's graduation. Does anybody graduate next week?
Yes. William Engel.
William Engel. Okay, good. So he's not here today, but he'll graduate. So, okay, everybody, let's have our break, and then we'll come back and do the memorization prestidigitation.